Ever wish you could like get a sneak peek behind the curtain at these big executive searches?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what we're doing today. We're
Yeah.
going to be diving into a case study from the Sales Experts.
Okay.
And they're a recruiting firm, and they did something pretty remarkable.
Oh, yeah.
They managed to find 7 top salespeople
Wow.
for a company called SpinifexIT,
Okay.
and they did it in just 12 weeks.
That makes you wonder how they did it.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be looking at. So the case study focuses on SpinifexIT, and they're an Australian software company,
Okay.
and their bread and butter is SAP
Got it.
/ SuccessFactors.
Okay.
And just so everyone's on the same page, those are specific modules within the SAP software,
Right.
and they deal with payroll solutions.
Interesting.
But SpinifexIT isn't selling to just anybody.
Right.
They're targeting large global enterprises.
Right.
So these are companies that like really depend on SAP software.
Yeah. So right away, the sales experts knew that they weren't just looking for any salesperson.
Right.
They needed people who really understood these SAP systems
For sure.
and could navigate these big organizations.
Yeah, they had to be fluent in SAP, basically.
Exactly.
And on top of that, they had to understand the problems that these big companies were facing.
Right. And how SpinifexIT solutions could solve those problems.
Exactly. It's a big ask.
Yeah.
Plus, they had to find 7 of these people in just 3 months.
That's a tough one.
It is. Oh, okay, so spill the beans.
Sure.
How did they pull this off?
Well, they were surprisingly methodical about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of like a detective working a case.
Mm-hmm.
They started by putting together a custom database
Okay.
of potential candidates.
And how did they even begin to do that?
Well, they focused on people who had experience in SAP/SuccessFactors sales.
Okay, but how do you even start to build a list like that?
Right, it's super niche.
Yeah.
So they tapped into their network, people they already knew in the SAP world.
Right.
They looked at professional platforms like LinkedIn,
Of course.
and they even used some specialized databases.
Wow, so they cast a pretty wide net.
They did.
And then the case study mentions that they went through over 1,500 profiles for each role.
That's a lot.
How do you even start to make sense of that much information?
Well, that's where their screening process came in.
Right.
They didn't just look for keywords.
Okay.
They really dug deep into these people's careers.
Okay.
They were looking for things that showed, real experience with SAP
Right.
and the ability to close deals at that enterprise level.
So they were looking for those subtle clues,
Exactly.
more than just checking boxes.
Yeah. They wanted to see evidence of, a deep understanding of the SAP system,
Okay.
a proven track record,
Uh-huh.
and that ability to navigate complex organizations,
Right, because those are the things that really make a successful salesperson.
especially in this market.
For sure.
You really need that expertise.
Yeah,
And it sounds like they were really thorough.
but I'm guessing it wasn't all about just skills and experience.
Oh, you're right.
Didn't they use some kind of special assessment, too?
They did.
What was it?
It was called the Sales Hunter Intelligence Evaluation.
Whoa, that sounds intense.
It does, doesn't it?
What is that?
Well, from what I gather, it's a tool that they developed themselves
Okay.
to go beyond just sales knowledge.
So what were they looking at?
Things like cognitive abilities.
Problem solving, I bet.
Exactly. And even how well they could adapt to different situations.
So basically all the stuff that makes a great salesperson.
Right. Especially in a field like this.
That's amazing.
It's like they're trying to figure out how these people think,
Yeah.
how they react under pressure.
It sounds like a mix of, old school networking
Oh, yeah.
and then this really high-tech assessment.
Yeah, you could say that.
So they've built this database,
Yep.
screened thousands of candidates,
Yeah.
and put them through this super intense evaluation.
Right.
What's next?
Okay, so they didn't just hand all that over to SpinifexIT.
Right.
They gave them a short list
Oh.
of the best candidates.
So they basically acted as a filter.
Yeah, you could say that.
But SpinifexIT wasn't just sitting back and waiting, were they?
Oh, no, they were very involved.
Okay, hold on. We're going to have to leave it right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they did their own interviews
Oh.
and assessments.
So they made sure the people were a good fit.
Right. Not just on paper.
Right. But for the company, too.
Exactly. For the team, the culture, everything.
So it was like a real team effort.
It was. The sales experts weren't just handing off a list of names.
They were really involved.
Yeah, more like a partner.
Helping them make the right choices.
Exactly.
And, it worked.
It did 7 hires in 12 weeks. That's amazing.
Especially for such specialized roles.
It really is. And it shows you that sometimes you need to go the extra mile.
You can't just post a job online and hope for the best.
Especially for these niche roles.
Yeah, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Exactly.
Or like, trying to find a specific vintage record player.
Yeah.
Like in a sea of digital streaming.
I get it.
You could spend forever looking online.
Right.
Or you could go to a specialist shop.
Where they know their stuff.
Exactly, and that's what the sales experts are like.
They know the SAP market inside and out.
They know where to find the best people.
And they have the tools to assess those people.
And it's not just about technical skills, is it?
No, it goes beyond that.
Like communication, problem solving, all that stuff.
It all matters.
Especially when you're dealing with big clients.
Right. They expect a certain level of,
Professionalism.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not just about talking the talk.
Right. You have to walk the walk, too.
And build relationships.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about SpinifexIT for a second.
Okay.
How did they feel about all this?
Well, the case study says they were very happy.
Like specifically.
Their HR manager was really impressed.
With the sales experts.
Yeah, with how quickly they found people.
And how resourceful they were.
And the quality of the candidates.
So it sounds like they found a good partner.
They did someone who understood their needs.
And helped them achieve their goals.
Exactly.
And it's interesting because even though they moved fast,
12 weeks is pretty fast.
they didn't rush the process.
Right. They still did a ton of interviews.
On both sides.
Yeah, to make sure they were making the right choices.
So you can be fast and thorough.
Exactly.
It's like having a really well-organized toolbox.
Okay.
Where everything is so you can work quickly.
But you're not sacrificing quality.
Exactly.
And that brings up another important point.
What's that?
Communication.
Oh, yeah, that's key.
Even with the best tools and the best people.
Things can fall apart if you're not communicating.
Exactly. And the sales experts were good at that.
They kept SpinifexIT in the loop.
Right. Regular updates, feedback, all that.
So everyone was on the same page.
Exactly.
And that's something we can all learn from.
Whether you're looking for a job or hiring someone,
communication is key.
It builds trust. It avoids problems.
It makes everything run smoother.
Exactly.
So we've seen how important expertise is.
And having a good process.
And clear communication.
It all makes a difference.
But there's one more thing I want to touch on.
Okay.
That Sales Hunter Intelligence Evaluation.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
It's not just about skills,
It's something deeper.
It's like they're trying to figure out what makes someone tick.
Exactly. What makes them successful.
And that's what makes this case study so fascinating.
It's not just about filling a job.
It's about understanding what makes people great.
Right.
And I think that's something we can all learn from.
Okay, so let's get practical for a minute.
Yeah. How can our listeners use this?
Okay, so if you're looking for a job, think about what makes you special.
What are your strengths?
What sets you apart?
And how can you show that to employers?
Exactly.
And if you're hiring, think about what you really need.
What qualities are important to you?
And how can you find those qualities?
It's about looking beyond the resume.
And really understanding the person.
Right, because at the end of the day...
It's about finding the right fit.
For both sides.
So we've talked about a lot today.
We have.
Specialized expertise.
Structured process.
Open communication.
And those innate qualities that make people successful.
But let's leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
If you were looking for a job, how would you make yourself stand out?
Ooh, that's a good one. Or if you were hiring.
What would you look for?
What makes a candidate truly exceptional?
It's something to think about.
It is.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Share them with us online.
Until next time, happy hunting, everyone.
Whether you're looking for a job or looking to hire.
Yeah, it's like we've uncovered this secret ingredient, this X factor that makes some people just shine.
Yeah, and it makes you think maybe success isn't just about what you learn.
Right.
And maybe it's also about these natural abilities you have.
Like you're wired for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's so cool about this case study is that they don't just identify these abilities.
Right.
They show you how to use them.
To get amazing results.
7 hires in 12 weeks. That's incredible.
Especially in a field like this.
It's not just luck.
No, they really understand what works.
Yeah, they know what to look for.
And I think we often forget about these strengths we have.
It's easy to get caught up in what we're not good at.
Right. We focus on our weaknesses.
Instead of what we're naturally good at.
And that goes for hiring, too.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes we get so stuck on the job description.
Yeah, we want someone who checks all the boxes.
And we miss out on people who could be amazing.
Just because they don't have the exact experience.
Oh, but they have the potential.
Right. And the right environment can help them grow.
So it's not just about finding the right person.
It's about finding the right fit.
Okay, so let's bring it back to our listeners.
What can they learn from all this?
If you're out there looking for a job, what's the one thing you should take away from this?
Don't be afraid to be yourself.
Show off what makes you unique.
Even if it's not on the resume.
Be the outlier.
Exactly.
And if you're hiring,
be
open to people who are different.
Look for that spark.
That potential.
Because sometimes the best people
are the ones you don't expect.
Right. They might surprise you.
So remember, everyone, it's not just about filling a job.
It's about building a team.
It's about finding people who can make a difference.
And who can help you achieve your goals.
So look beyond the surface.
Embrace your strengths.
And be open to the unexpected.
Because that's where the real magic happens.
So well said. Thanks for joining me today.
It was my pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.